everybody. This is Tiffany Parr here with Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine. We have a special show today with one of my sisters from the Own It platform. We are taking center stage today on the Own It publishing platform. Let me go ahead and bring her on in. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get you together in life. Come on in, sis. How you doing, Dee Sands?
Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
I am fantastic and I'm so excited to have you on the show. I have been waiting for this. I just look, y'all, I got to see this woman in action. We were part of the Own It retreat and conference this year with Marisa Blodorn, and it was absolutely amazing. This woman right here dropped so many nuggets. I had to bring her on the show so she could share some of those nuggets with you as well. So, Dee, please introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do.
Hi, Tiffany, and thank you so much for the invitation. I am Dee Sands, and I live in New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl. I've been in the financial services industry for over 20 years, so I am a licensed life insurance representative. But today, that is not what I'm here to talk to you about. I have some secrets and some very important information for you. And I mean, if you don't have a notebook, please get one right now, because these are some nuggets that I am going to give you today. And I'm just going to lay it all down on the line. I'm very passionate about educating families in the life insurance industry, but there's some more important things that you need to know once you purchase your life insurance and what needs to be done after that.
Awesome. So tell us, where were you finding, what were the families doing? Excuse me. Were they doing the right thing when you were talking to them and having these conversations? You know, what was going on with them? Because I know I've heard some stories. I've been in insurance myself before, and I've heard some stories about, people untimely death and what happens in families, and it's a mess. So can you tell us a little bit about what was going on with what you experienced?
Yes, Tiffany, there's actually an educational gap between purchasing life insurance and then, an untimely death between a person. So what is happening is that during that time, when a person passes away, I was finding out like a lot of family members didn't know information that was needed to be known, as far as what the family member wanted to have done, their personal instructions, whether they had life insurance or whether they didn't, whether they had money or whether they didn't. But the most important thing is that the documentation, they had no idea on where to find that information. And that is something of importance. I mean, once life insurance is purchased, you need to have that family roundtable talk with the family and let them know all of the things that are going on. So I was finding that that wasn't happening. And that's what made me, even more passionate about what it is that I do. But I can sell a life insurance policy, but that wasn't my main source. It was helping the family to educate them on what you needed to do once you purchased it. And it made a big difference knowing that information versus families that were going through it and didn't know anything about it. So that's what, really, I was on a crusade. I still am on educating families on that, have that round table talk, because it's very important. And then you don't have to worry about anybody not knowing what's going on. Because when things happen, you have those family members that come out of the wood and it's like, okay,
That part.
like, who are you?
Right. You got the
So,
second and third cousins coming out the woodwork, right?
exactly, yes, but that's the key.
Wow.
And there's, a lot of, I'm sure, towards the end and in the middle, we'll discuss some of those documents and different things that need to be in place.
Yes. So are you finding nowadays, especially after coming out of what we came out of, in the recent years, are you finding that people are getting more prepared these days, or are you still seeing a huge lack?
Well, I believe that they are getting more prepared these days. I mean, once, we don't want to talk about it, but once COVID happened, that was really a reality, reality check on the world itself, because the whole world was shut down. And then you had, family members that were passing away and nobody knew anything. And at that time, it was too late, to try to figure out what was going on. So right now, I believe it's a lot more education that's going on. So it's not as havoc as it was, but families are being more aware and believing, noticing that this is information that needs to be taken care of. So it's better to take care of the information now rather than later when it's too late. And we're already mourning or going through devastated when there's during deaths. You really don't want to be financially devastated, and then it's like you're running around, your mind is going here and there and there. And just if
Right.
you just know that everything is in one spot and you could just go there and do what needs to be done, that it makes everything more smoother. You'll still
Yeah.
be mourning and going through things, but you won't be financially devastated. You'll just
Right.
your mind will be soothed a little.
Yeah, yeah, because it's already, like you said, it's already a devastating situation. And I mean, you don't think about it until, I went through it, with the passing of my father, where, you're having to go to all these different organizations and trying to figure out which organization that you need to go to get this document and that document to make sure everything gets in order. And it's very frustrating. So to be able to, as you say, to just go to one place and have all that, everything, all the documentation, everything that you need right there, that would just, that's perfect, so stress, come on now, we that's the silent killer, and that's the one of the number one killers, right? So we don't need that
Definitely.
stress.
Yes. No, we definitely don't, Tiffany. And what I do is I recommend individuals and families to get a lock block black box,
Okay.
to have all of your documentation in there and all your instructions. And a lot of people don't think
Mm,
about it. Us, we depend on technology a lot today. So
right.
a lot of our things are locked up in technology. So in that box, you should have all of your logons and passwords to all of your accounts.
Mm,
And these days, we have families that pay for other family members' items or different things. They may pay for their cell bill. They may pay for online subscriptions like Netflix and different things like that. People don't think
mm,
about that. You need to have the logon and passwords to that, because should that family member no longer be here, I mean, you may want to continue that stuff, but you need to let those family members that are going to have to be responsible to take over those things, so they know. And then they'll budget that in their budget. So when the time
right.
does come, they'll be okay with it. So, I mean, those are
Yeah.
just different situations where people really don't think about that. Even husband and wives, they have homes, and I'm sure they split the bills. One person may be paying car insurance, one the homeowner's insurance, different things like that, necessities. So you need to sit down and say, hey, I take care of this, you take care of that. So we'll know, when something happens to the other person, that stuff still needs to be continued. There's some things that, you have no choice. For example, your home, the
Mhm.
homeowner's insurance needs to continue. You don't want to find out at a time where you may want to put in a claim and it's like, oh yeah, you don't have homeowners insurance.
Right.
So
Mm,
you don't want to go through any situations like that. So I mean, one of the most important conversations with your family is that roundtable talk. Once you get your life insurance,
yeah.
you just need to have it no matter what, so everyone knows what's going on, because you don't
Yeah.
want to find out at the last minute.
I think it's just, people a lot of times don't want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable, right? It's, when you're talking about life insurance, I know for myself, when I first, said, okay, I got to get a policy, it was like, dang, I'm getting a policy, but I'm not dead yet. Like, I'm kind of putting it out there. Like, I need this because I'm gonna die, and that was kind of
Yes.
what went through my head, right? But I mean, do you get that,
you're,
from people?
you're not the only one that goes through that. A lot of people do, but then you have to think about it. What would happen if you didn't have it?
Hmm.
And I run across a lot of situations with that right now. You know what the trend is now?
Hmm.
GoFundMe accounts.
What?
So, yes. And that's one thing, is like, why go through that? Because right now we have a lot of people that are having untimely deaths. I mean, some people are just having accidents,
Right.
falling down the stairs and then that's it, just different things, or something at work where it's not, you're not, you can just walk across the street these days. I mean, I know you know about New York. People constantly walking, and then they get hit by cars. It's just different things. Right now, a lot of people aren't dying naturally. So you rather have it and not need it versus needing it and not having it. So
Right.
that's, something very important. A lot of people think, oh, if I talk about it, I'm going to be cursed. But no, that's not the thing. That is something that is guaranteed. We might not want to face that, but it is a guarantee. We are going to die. We just don't know when. So just be prepared. And it's not for you anyway. It's for the people that you're leaving behind. You want
Yeah.
them to continue to live the same lifestyle that they're living versus having to, if you are in the house, they have to move out, move in with family members that they don't get along with,
Right.
because no matter what, whether you get along with a family member or not, some may let you come and stay with them and some may not. But why put your family through that? And a lot of
Yeah.
times I talk about it, when people are at funerals, they talk. They really do. So at my funeral, I want them to say, oh, she really took care of her family. She really loved them. She cared about them versus them saying, I can't believe everybody had to put money in to take care of her funeral. But you're seeing that nowadays. That's when as soon as I see a GoFundMe come up, I'm like, they had no life insurance at all.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not expensive, Tiffany. It's more expensive not having it versus having it. But people don't think about that. There's ways that it could be dinner twice a month, could be the price of life insurance.
Yeah.
But not having it, I mean, the expense that it'll cost your family,
Right.
not just your funeral, but especially if you have been taking care of them and you were the income earner. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a lifestyle change.
Yeah. No, that's huge. And we're going to go ahead and cut to a quick commercial break. And then I want to come back and I want to talk about a little bit of a benefit that you also get while living with having insurance. So we will be right back.
Yes.
All right, and we are back. This is Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, and we have the lovely Dee Sands here. She is a licensed insurance representative and a division manager. She is educating us on some things on the importance of life insurance. So, Dee, before we cut to the quick commercial, I had mentioned something about a benefit that you can gain while having life insurance while you're still alive. So can you touch on that just a little bit for our audience?
While having the life insurance while you're alive. For example, I'll give a lot of people have life insurance on their job
Mhm.
and they don't realize, that life insurance does not follow you. It's not mobile. So if you were to leave your job, you no longer have the life insurance.
Mhm.
Now, with job insurance is group insurance. So everybody is considered the same health and the same age. So if you leave your job and you're looking to get life insurance, you may be uninsurable. So that is, you keep your health up. That's one thing. And the best thing is to get it while you're young and healthy. And then that protects your insurability. The benefit is that, should you pass away, there's enough money that will take care of your funeral. And should you have money that you may want to leave to others, then you'll have that benefit in order to, leave that to them. But the most important thing is to have it, even if you just get enough for burial, and you feel more comfortable. As
Yeah.
long as if something, God forbid, something happens to you, or when it happens, you have nothing to worry about because you know that your family is going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good place to be, right? So tell me, Dee, have you always like had a passion for like when okay, when you back let's go, let's take it back in high school. What did you see yourself doing at this point? Did you see yourself in insurance? Did you see yourself do helping, educating people? Like, have you always had a passion for that?
Tiffany, to be honest with you, I was asked that question before. When I was younger, I really wasn't the type of person to be like, I want to do this or be that when I grew up. It was just spontaneous, like whatever happens happens, and that's still the type of person that I am today. It's like, I'm spontaneous. I was glad that I was introduced in that field. I can say that I was the type of person that always looked out and helped others.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that followed me throughout, my life now. So it could be that, but I never was to the point where, when I grow up I want to be this or do that. It's just that even when I was younger, I would help tutor others in school because I was an A student. So if I had friends or whatever and we had conversation or played games or anything, and for example, when I was younger, we had one moment where our lights had went out. So
Mhm.
my neighbors and I were playing together, and then when the lights went out, you really couldn't do much. So we had candles and we would read books. And I have found out that my neighbor really couldn't read that well. And so I just started to help her, in reading and in math and different things like that. So I guess you can say I've always been a person that wanted to help others. So I can say that, that's one thing, but I never wanted to be anything in particular.
Okay, okay. So I know this, this type of industry can be, very stressful. It's a lot of moving parts, and being a division manager, you also have, different people that you're responsible for. It can be a lot. So tell me, Dee, what does like your self care look like? What do you do just to mellow out?
So Tiffany, I'm glad you asked that question because we're constantly busy, but we have to make sacrifices. So with me, I'll get up early in the morning and I'll do like a 30-minute exercise, whether it's someone on YouTube or something like that. Tea really settles me down. I have to drink tea. I drink tea in the morning. I'm the type of person that after I eat, I have to have something hot to help it digest. So I drink tea after I eat a meal and then before I go to bed. That's really like my comforting point. And I
Yeah.
like to garden and do flowers. So on the weekend, that's me time. I'm just out, doing flowers and out in the yard and things like that. So that's what helps me to be comfortable. And then as far as the exercise and stuff, I can fit at least 30 minutes in the morning. So even though I have to sacrifice and get up a little bit earlier, but it helps me. And I make sure that I do 10,000 steps minimum a day.
Yes. Ooh, I love that. See, keep them steps in for sure. And I love the gardening. I would love to get into gardening, but I don't have a green thumb at all. I kill everything that I try to plant. But it is so soothing when you're out there. I love grounding and, being around it all. But yeah, as I said, so
Yes, yes.
so tell me, so what has been we'll say the biggest struggle in growing your business in this industry?
How can I say? Even though the education that I give to teach others, it, everyone doesn't get it. Everyone isn't on the same track as you. And as they say, you have to hang around like-minded people or people that you want to be like.
Yeah.
Because no matter what business that you're in, you're going to have a type of struggle because you're going to deal with different characteristics and different people. So you have to handle them all differently. Some you may need to hold their hands, some may want to be independent, and some is just like, okay, we'll let you do what you do. And then eventually when you make that decision that you want to move forward, then I'm here. So it's definitely, you have to deal with different people's characteristics. And once you're able to do that is, and I'm always that type of person, no matter what the situation is, I can make it to turn out to be positive. because no matter what you do, it's either a business transaction or a learning experience.
Right. Yeah. And that's a positive and a positive, right? And that's really how we have to look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
life is going to have those ups and downs, but as long as we keep it positive, you're always going to have that, positive outcome, because your outlook is positive, right? So,
Yes, definitely. And then you have to take a look at why you're doing it. What
yeah.
is the reason that you're doing it? That's the most important thing. So, you know, if you, as they say, if your why makes you cry, then, you're going to do what needs to be done.
That's right. That's right. So, look, we're talking about our why. So, what is your biggest why in what you do?
My biggest why is my grandchildren. Just
Oh,
so I could be their nana no matter what it is, because we always spoil them anyway. But I want them to be in a situation no matter what it is that they want and is feasible, then I'm able to help them out with that. But you have to be doing the right things as well. You have to be doing good in school. You have to be respectful. And I
hmm
can say that I have three grandchildren, a 19-year-old,
wow.
16, and 11. And they're all boys and they're all respectful. So as long as, and they're all good in school as well. So as long as you're doing the right things, then Nana is there for you.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness. Three boys. Whoo, I got one, okay? And I don't even know how I can do it. But we're gonna go ahead and do another quick commercial break, and then we are gonna come back with Dee Sands. All right, and we are back. This is Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine taking center stage on the Own It publishing platform. And we have Miss Dee Sands here with us talking about life insurance, the importance of it, and why you need it, why you gotta have it. Okay. There is no reason why you shouldn't. Okay, there's no excuses, people. So, all right, Dee. So tell me, tell us what do you see as some trends that is happening in families today after a death happens?
Well, besides them doing a GoFundMe account,
Yeah,
I'm finding where family members are at each other's necks. And
that's
it
right.
shouldn't be that way. I mean, just as I expressed earlier, if you have that family roundtable talk, then you don't have to worry about that, because there's certain things, once you're gone, there's nothing that you can really do.
Right.
It's whoever you left in charge of your money, then that's the person that will be taking care of everything. And we just pray that they do the right thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, and that's I have heard that that's one of the number one things to really break families up, And then when you got that one family member that comes in, isn't it true that when you've got someone come in, now it goes into probate? Now you've got, a lot of your estate that you have worked so hard for is now going to the state, right?
Yes,
To
definitely.
legal fees and things like that because now you're having to fight.
Correct. But Tiffany, the main thing is that what families should have is a will.
Mhm.
The will overwrites everything. So once everything is documented, then there's no matter who comes and says what or does what, it doesn't matter. It's,
Yeah.
and people should have a living will as well as a regular will upon their death. And the reason for the living will is because a lot of us may go to the hospital and have a surgery. And there may be complications.
Right.
So you need to let them know, okay, should I stop breathing? Do you want them to continue to bring me back or just,
Right.
stop? Because a lot of elderly people, I mean, they're to the point where it's like, okay, if something happens, like, I don't want you to go
Yeah.
through all of that extra stuff to bring me back because that costs money as well.
Right.
And you have to think about that. So that is the first thing. Even when you go into a hospital, they ask you if you have a directive, a living directive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't have that, but you need to have that to let them know what you want done. I mean,
Yeah.
your family members may not agree with it, but if you signed it, the hospital has to go, they have to abide by it
Right.
no
Yeah.
matter what. So, that's something that goes on. And to prevent family members going at each other's throat, doing an untimely death of another family member, if you have it in writing, there is
Mm-hmm.
nothing that they can do about it. And that's something that you should have. So everybody knows what they're supposed to get, what they're supposed to do, and just different things like that. So you don't have to worry about it going into probate and all of that stuff because sometimes those things can take years.
Years. Yeah. I had recently heard that someone had been in probate, back and forth for almost 12 years. And it finally, and I know
Wow.
I've heard it could even go even further. My father had a living trust and made it very easy. Everybody knew exactly what they were supposed to do, which was amazing. And I just recently found out that, a living trust also, if you have underage children and say something happens to both parents, even if those children are very close to a grandparent or an auntie or something like that, they can still go into the system because it was not in writing where they were supposed to go. So that's another really, really vital piece of having that living trust is where your kids gonna go. I mean, even, you go down even like to grandma's, famous, pottery, whatever that was, or her wedding ring or whatever. You dig down deep into that. I mean, who is that all going to go to? You don't want people fighting over the dumbest of things.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. And it's good that you mentioned that about the parents, because as parents, even though we had our children, we technically you can say they're not ours because
Right.
you would think that if one parent passed away, the child would go directly to that parent. I mean, at that time they will, but another family member can take you to court over that child.
Mhm. Yeah, I've heard about that too, and that's crazy.
People don't realize that.
And that's wild. So yes, definitely people get out there, make sure you have your, insurance together, and make sure you have that living trust, that living will, so you can move all of those things into it. You want to make sure your insurance policies, all those things are there so people know what you have and how to access it. So, I mean, this has just been an amazing conversation, Dee. Please, is there any other, wisdom, any other, nuggets of knowledge that you'd like to drop on our audience before we close up today? I tell you, the time goes by too quick.
It definitely does. And one of my main things, Tiffany, that I do is, doing my speaking and my first exercise that I have everyone to do. I always have them to pull out an index card and we go through an example. If you were stranded on the road and you were asked for 3 contact numbers and your cell phone was dead, would you be able to provide those numbers? If not, please think about doing that. 2 should be family members and 1 should be a non-family member. So if you don't know 3 numbers by memory, you need to know that because we depend on technology today so much. And you know, our cell phones always die at the times that you really don't want them to die.
Right.
So you don't want it to happen during an emergency.
Oh,
And also, just be prepared. You know, be prepared should an untimely death happen. Let your family know where everything is. Put it in a lock, fire resistant black box where there's two keys. And please do not keep both keys. Give one to a most trusted person because they're going to need that information. In the box, as I mentioned, some of the things, log on and passwords to all of your accounts. Put all of your memberships and subscriptions in there because they need to be canceled immediately. This is information that needs to be in that box. All of your life insurance paperwork, any other accounts that have to deal with money or anything like that, all of that should be in that box. So that's the tidbits that I have to leave everyone with today, Tiffany. And I really appreciate, the opportunity of being on your show today.
Oh, thank you so much, Dee. This has just been amazing. I got a lot out, and every time you speak and I hear you, I get so many different things. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with you. Dee and I actually recently had a conversation, and she's going to help me make sure I get everything all honed in together and right for my family as well. So if you are in need of, some insurance needs, if you want to just have a conversation to find out exactly what you need, you definitely want to connect with Dee. Her information has been going on the ticker here. You'll go to her website, www.dsands.com, or you can find her on LinkedIn as well under Dee Sands. So thank you, Dee, so much for joining us today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine podcast. We love you so much, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Take care.